Hi, my name is Chloe MANNO, and I am in Mrs. McGee's 8th period class. I am Asian white, but too white to be called Asian and too Asian to be called white. I play enough video games to be Asian, white enough to be horrible at them, can't make rice correctly, Asian white, watches enough anime to be called Asian, but can't season food correctly, white, privileged enough to live in a wealthy neighborhood, but never seeing anyone who looks like me, Asian white. People pull their eyes back to look like me, my eyes too wide for that to make any sense, Asian white. Telling me to go back to a rice farm, but following that by no offense, and going back to a neighborhood with a white picket fence, Asian and white.
Hey, my name is RUHI. I wrote my poem about guilt. So, guilt is a devilish thing. Its talons intertwine my fingers like a mother grasping her child's clammy palms while they walk across the street. But its hands are not warm like hers. Its glacial shadow is a shinigami, ready to scratch my name onto the severing pages of the death note. I cannot hide from it. I am always within the apples of its eyes. Guilt saunters after me everywhere I go. Its lengthy fingers drop destructive thoughts like matchsticks in a vat of gasoline, igniting even the tiniest flicker of emotion into an extensive forest fire. The archangel with chili-colored horns always stands in the distant shade until I lie to my mother about where I'm going. I lie to my father about who I'm seeing. In those moments, it creeps closer, using only the pads of its toes. When I cheat on my exams, when I whisper behind that girl's back, launching meaningless gossip into my friend's ear, it sprints closer, shoving obstacles aside with loud bangs. It's here! The Lucifer of my shattered conscience, breathing down my neck like a waterfall, flooding my mind with regret, drowning me in the repercussions of my actions. Thank you.
Defeat is wood chips on a playground, knocking the wind from my heart when I miss the monkey bar. The wood flecks stick to my prepubescent thigh, unable to be shaken off without leaving shameful pink marks. Failure indents me for the rest of recess, the pride of a successful swing ripped from me, like the varnish chipping off the gaudy playground set, whose uneven metal calloused my practice fingers after weeks of preparation. I can finally make it to the last bar, everyone. My elementary stage, once shiny with the awe of impossibility, now a scuffed mat from thousands of shoes. Twice as many now churn the chips to mulch as they shuffle to face the platform's announcer, kicking the pungent tang of failure down my throat, clinging to my esophagus like sawdust on sticky fingers. I spit the pulp out and fly, the spit snaking across the ground now passing beneath me. My ego soars high above the scatter of oak, taunting my twinkle toes as I catch the bar. The butterflies that had laid dormant in my stomach flutter up to tickle my fingertips until I'm staring at those bright blue wings, now sharp as splinters from down below, gasping and sobbing for an eternity of 10 minutes on my bedding of defeat.
Hi, my name is GILLIAN LARSON. This is my poem, Silk Paper. I'm sorry for my lighting if it's a little too dark. I knew a girl who collected mounds of silk paper. She called herself a sociopath who took pleasure in draining viscous black blood from dampened tips of ink sticks and wove heavy braids with fibers dirtied by the night. The girl carried her work wherever she went, its matte brushstrokes a dragon's scales fending angry flames. She hid her Chinese eyes with untrimmed bangs, hoping one day Mama would buy her a pair of colored contacts to rinse stale tea from the rim of her cup and make it brand new again. Tears fell like light rainfall, accompanied by bolts of gentle yet somehow thunderous sobs. Her sheet of silk paper felt suddenly moist. Ink melted with cloudy saline, and sads and tangled patterns branched from disfigured characters. She remembers how beautiful it used to look before she tore it by the fold.
Hi, my name is Taylor MONTES-WILLIAMS, and this is my poem. Don't have money for a Cuban, I show my status with rings. I might be broke, but there's no joke, I'll stunt on all of you with some rings. Normally I keep it casual, natural, but that's the thing about rings. They give you that bling in small amounts. Like to view my rings on my fingers like gold chains on my hands. All my money goes to rings, they're my wings that fly me. See, I love me some rings, but then they take them from my hands. They steal all my rings, but they don't fit you. That's the issue. See, the way I wear my rings is the spring that follows my own winter. And with every one of the rings that I string across my fingers, not a printer. I don't copy anything with my rings.
My name is Micah. This is my poem about my grandpa. It's like the 45th video. Let's go. Lost my grandfather soaring up above like a dove. People tell me it's okay, but when is that ever enough? Condolences fetch to me, but my feelings never bring it back. It's such a bluff. It's like trying to catch a fastball, but you don't even got a glove. My grandpa, he was special, and his life was so eventful. It's dreadful to think about it, really travels in my mental. He was a poet to himself, hated Trump and the Federals, a genius some would say. And now in heaven he settles, memories start to pop in my head like kettle. And watching movies with the corn in the bowl, with my pops to the right, playing hundreds of games of chess till the end of the night. Now who's there in my mental to encourage me to fight? No one. Still fatherless and standing here frozen. And lately life has been so dry, like it's in need of lotion. My potion is the motion of chilling out, being lonely, not being chosen, glowing, or causing all this damn commotion. I've been dazed since he's been gone. My friends and my girl, that's all that I got. Thinking things I forgot. Now I'm tied in a knot. And the death of my grandfather got me thinking, when am I finna rot? But I miss him. That's it.
My name is Phoebe Tanacea, and my poem is titled Reflecting on the Dark. A house inhabited by dark clouds, secret screams drowned out by their thunder. That's how she was born and raised. Family history stained with the blood of suicide, the wives and mothers. With the looming of their oppressed ghosts, she was born and raised. His parents split like a continental drift. Through aftershocks and tremors, he was born and raised. The sex, drugs, and rock and roll rage, like father, like mother, how he was born and raised. He and she in holy union until the cycle tsunamied, and now I can't remember most of how I was born and raised. Forced to enlist in their civil war, I'm an expert double agent and a trained suicide bomber, born and raised. Every day, performing and perfecting a balancing act of lies, into the family circus I was born and raised. A family legacy of smashed glass, bruises, and mounting rage. The fire was where we were born and raised.
Fear is a battleship across a panicked sea. My dad suited up. He was being shipped to Afghanistan for the longest year of my life. As a 7-year-old, I sulked into the 3rd grade. I was a dead zone. A tidal wave of emotions flooded my eyes. I desperately overthought the possibility of him not returning. My whimpering eyes appreciated his face over screen, but I wished only for a hug again. I feared I would never see him again. My anxious battleship could not see the buoy pointed to the seacoast. I was stuck with the image that he was trapped in the open sea with a shiver of sharks, the current jerking me under a tidal wave of yearning and perturbation. My main worry was asking me, will he come back? The year was prolonged, and then finally we took a trip to the airport. The welcome home sign was larger than the battleship itself. I spotted my dad from across the room. I waved and raced over to the sailor who was lost at sea that now escaped to the coast. I wrapped my arms around him, and I was filled with the surge of peace and love.
My name is Saada Roberson, and I am in Miss Fox's English class, 6th period. This is my poem about funk. Okay, here we go. Get the funk out of my face. Trust, I got the pace. Too cool, meet the gang. My mom's got a temper and the guitarist plays the bass. He's got a crush on Prince. I call that royalty funk. My auntie's the sweetie, voice art that spit like graffiti. Frequently her frequency got the power to range and rearrange your electronic organs deep like brown funk. Marty's on the drums, quite Franklin, get it right. Which reminds me of Frankie, the strings, they hum for the rock-steady blue of blues funk. The main course of this meal may not have the appeal of neo-soul, but that darn funk won't let you get your back up off the wall. That stubborn, need-a-pop funk. They'll take you for a ride on the Funkadelic Sweet Cherry. Don't question my experience. Call me the crystal child of their indigo-colored, spiritual, sophisticated funk. Royal funk, brown funk, blues funk, pop funk, soul funk, rock funk, funky funk of the cemetery, where you will lie if you dare question the music that rattled my bones. Thank you.
When I was a kid, I thought that cornfields were crafted by God. That's why their perfect lines never kiss the edge of county highways. I thought wind turbines' synchronized lights match God's blinking green eyes. It's harder now. On my plane rides, I can see the bare patches from the drought and the cut corners men missed. When I drive through cornfield towns, the produce cradles pro-life billboards and MAGA signs. I'd grown out of my hometown by age 12, when its warm church candles had turned into same lights that ignite fears of hell. I've been carved into their perfect child only to be cut out for a brighter light. They said a child's eyes were best to see faith through, but they rubbed mud in mine. And when I cried, they told me to pray away my pain. I still pray to a God I don't believe in case there's a heaven I don't want to be in.
I'm Sonia Gutierrez in Miss McGee's third period. When people were killing in wars so great, the fear and despair of a loss, that was great. Women were told to go home and to bake, make children and raise them, and make men's lives great. When whites had all power, as long as they're straight, when children are lynched for looking, that's great. Restricted, conflicted, they're sickened, afraid, victims of symptoms of another man's hate. Shackled and trampled by oppression is great. Great for you, or for who is it great? The land at your hands, rich man is your fate. Amazon schmamazon, as long as you're great. People are dying, were their lives not that great? Just tell me, when was America great?
Hi, I'm Louise Calkins. I'm in third period English with Mr. Cohen, and the title of my poem is This Jealous Feeling. Jealousy's hands have carpal tunnel, because when they wrap around me, they don't let go. Jealousy's nails scrape out a scream from deep down far I did not know was there. He hides behind bushes when I'm walking home from school and leeches onto my backpack when I compliment my friend's outfit. He sculpts a mean face onto me so everyone in the room can see I don't match my words. His palms press together to give me a false hope of achieving looks from girls I hate and boys who don't know my name. The only time that jealousy hides is when I feel it from my sisters. She painted my nails last summer and told me she loved the way my hair fell. Jealousy hid. He was scared of the amount dripping off of her tongue. Jealousy never lies, because I can see his pulse running through his hands. I can never wash or scrub away jealousy, but I can force his rage and fear of being left out and not noticed and turn it into a feeling of gratefulness. I can tell jealousy that his painted nails don't hide his sadness, just like mine. And I will hang up on jealousy when he rings to ruin a moment of joy I feel for someone. I will unlock his hands from holding me back.
My autism may not be crystal clear, but look through another lens, and it'll appear. My reflection may not make it clear, but the image in my head makes it clear. I'll make new interests as fast as light, and that's clear. I usually fear that I may not sound sincere. A lot of noise is severe on my ears. I don't blend in groups. I can't cohere. When you joke about autism, it's clear. You don't have much respect, and that's clear. I see jokes about autism being revered. Haha, you have high levels of autism. Makes me shed a tear. But I don't have the strength to make my feelings clear. I'm afraid I'll be laughed at if I interfere. People treat me different, and that is clear. People have talked to me how a teacher talked to an elementary school first year. In Best Buddies Club in my final middle school year, the helpers were doing it, and it was so clear. There was one thing they did that made it clear. They'd be laid back when talking to with their friends, like I wasn't even near. I saw through them crystal clear. I wish I could have said that I'm right here. We're on equal footing. How's that unclear? But instead I made myself disappear.
Hi everyone, it's RAYCH. First I want to thank you for just, allowing me to even listen to your amazing work. I truly enjoyed myself, and I just like you 13 finalists. I think that the way different stories were told, whether it's the personification of emotions, whether it's gut-wrenching stories about family, which also hits home, whether it's setting the record straight, to playing with punchlines, I thought that this was a phenomenal collection of art that I just enjoyed reading, I want to say, but honestly I was watching on my computer. But my top choice that I will choose is someone who took an event so common, so relatable, seemingly so small, and just strung together a beautiful story. I think that if you can take an event of falling off the monkey bars and make it a 1 minute 28 second masterpiece, then like what else is coming from you? My top choice is definitely Julia Dingman. I think that your intricate story of failure from falling off the monkey bars and just weaving in all the words and the metaphors it shook me, honestly. The first line, you jumped out the gate. Defeat is wood chips on a playground, knocking the wind from my heart when I missed the monkey bar. That's how you started the poem. I already knew that it was going to be fire, but like to sit through and just watch how you detailed each moment, what the wood chips were, how your body felt, how, the pulp snaked out your mouth, failure indents me, clinging to like sawdust on sticky fingers. I think that poem is my top choice, and it challenges me sorry, I'm getting loud, and I'm recording this at home, so I don't want my neighbors to get like why is she yelling? But Julia's work, Julia's piece, it really challenges me to take a simple event and see what I can bloom or see what blossoms from there. Truly a great piece of work. My top choice. Thank you so much again for having me, you all. And congratulations, Julia.
Hello, my name is Theresa Lola, and it has been an absolute joy to listen to your poems and to watch your performances. I was completely blown away by the powerful messages in the poems, the range of topics, but also the creativity with which they were told. It was so difficult to pick a top 5, but I've had to, so here we go. 5th place is RUHI SALDANHA. RUHI's poem is about guilt, and I love the strong imagery in the poem, which made the listener feel the presence of guilt even more. In 4th place is Jeremy Kant's. Jeremy's poem is about autism and the way people around an autistic person respond to them. And I love the use of rhyme in the poem. Claire, here, disappear. That R just hangs in the air and stays with you. 3rd place is Lauren Edwards. Lauren's poem is a touching and fierce poem on losing faith and the circumstances that contribute to that, so things you've grown up with and how you start to see them with a different lens. It was very powerful, told a very powerful story. 2nd up is Saada Roberson. This poem blew me away from the first time I heard it. It's a poem about funk music, and I love the confidence with which Saada performed, the control and bounce. I just kept looking forward to what was going to come in. And I love the prefixes before the word funk: royal funk, sophisticated funk, brown funk. Loved it. In 1st place is Phoebe Tanacea. Phoebe's poem, Reflecting on the Dark, is a poem about the impact of family history and pain on a person. I love that it showed us a family portrait. It took us to the story of presumably both parents and the chaotic history, the history of pain and sorrow, and how that combination then affects the child as well. And it does what we want a poem to do, which is provoke emotion in us. Congratulations to everyone in your wonderful poems, and take care.
Hi everyone, it's RAYCH. Today I'm going to read a poem that I don't often read, just for you all. It's one of my favorites in my collection, Even the Saints Audition. And the title of it is Even My Nails Hurt Me. It's on page 30. My nails fall in love with everything but my hands. They commit to slam doors and cracks in the couch, quietly rip themselves from my fingers while my blood makes the sound. I try to keep my nails on my fingers with super glue and enlist keys to pry open pop cans, change the shape my nails naturally grow into. I am their son. Shaved the sides of their heads, I am their shadow. Still, they want out, even when I tend to their needs before mine. I dress my nails in glitter without asking and paint them the color I deserve to feel. No costume can make them belong to me. I hoped they'd miss me. Instead, they giggle under dust piles with my skin attached to their backs, mauled plastic chunks hiding in corners of my apartment, thrilled to be free. So I wrote this poem in response to another poem, and it's on the next page. It's a Sestina from the Broken Fingernail. So, I wrote as a broken fingernail, yearning to be even, and like the rest. And then I responded to it with even my nails hurt me. And the biggest inspiration for this piece is literally, it's, I write about what happened to me, and I write about how I felt. So one day, and you can see I have money in this nail and then smiley faces on the rest of them. One day I broke a long nail and it hurt so bad, and I wasn't able to find the other piece. Later on that week, I was able to find the other piece, but then I had to go and fix it, got a Band-Aid, but I found it in the corner of my apartment. And in that time, I was also going through just some rough things, and I just was like, even my nails hurt me. And that's like literally how I titled the poem. The way I write and the way I generate just ideas in my head, I write about things that happen to me as they happen to me. They're little Post-it notes, and I try to return. My whiteboard in my other room is full of poem ideas that I return to. And a couple of things that I want you all to take away from this is there is no amount of times you can write about a topic. You can repeat your topic over and over and over again. You might see more poems about fingernails because my nails are important to me, and I can just tie in whatever story of what I'm feeling that day. And I think that sometimes people limit themselves when they're like, I wrote about a topic too much. That's the first thing. Second thing, back on the first thing, one thing my mentor would tell me is when you're writing about a same topic, you just, write about that topic, and you can't get in the door, try to go through the window, right? So I wrote from the broken fingernails perspective, then I'm writing from my perspective. I might write from the chunk in the chunk of my nail in the corner of my apartment tomorrow. There's no limit to how much I can write about a topic, and no one can tell me different. That's the first thing. The second thing is that my writing process is definitely, I like to talk out my poems, right? So I'll write a sentence or two. I'll write a sentence or two. Sorry, that's my boss. And then I'll read it out loud, and then write a sentence, read it out loud. Then that is how I get my ideas out. And then I go back and edit. Editing is the most important thing. You have to edit your pieces because people will come back. Sorry, that's my boss again. You have to edit your pieces because when you come back, there are some gems, right? And then unfortunately, there are some lines you cut. So I rant out all of my work onto a page, and then I go back and snip it up. And those are my two things. I hope this helps. And I'm just really thrilled that I got to listen to you all, the finalist work, and that you all just took this time to listen to one of my favorite poems. Write about the small stuff. Write about a fingernail. I just keep thinking about that poem about the monkey bars. Write about those moments is just Julia. Write about those small moments because they're big to you, and you can change them and write them into bigger experiences. All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is THERESA LOLA. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you are watching this. This poem I'm going to share is titled My Brother's Barber. When the barber carves a border around my brother's globe-shaped head, no one can invade his new pride. His teeth a roar of flamboyant soldiers. He vouches for his barber like fans do to their favorite musicians. My brother's barber is blinded by the grace to give a boy's bones a new blues bounce. Doesn't register that the absence of a stage isn't the absence of a star. Doesn't realize that the barber shop is like a concert of bodies waiting for the sound of beautification to graze their skin. No different from a tuner of bodies at a rap concert. My brother's barber is not the field MC he calls himself. For he too gives young men new lines to boast of and roll their fingers over with. Each line of hair wave is a rhyme my brother memorizes to spit back at his next visit to the barber shop. My brother's barber glowed once on Channel U. He went by the name, open bracket, name currently unknown, return name to any South London bus stop if found trapped in quicksand, close brackets. The barber lists names of prominent rappers, says they overshadowed his career like black hoodie on black face. Denial is the burning bush he prays to. Those at the barber shop listen to him. Each sigh that curls from their mouth is a portable microphone he uses to amplify his next word with. My brother's barber is blinded by his grace to give a boy's bones a new blues bounce. Doesn't register that the absence of a stage isn't the absence of a star. Doesn't realize that the absence of a stage isn't the absence of a star. Thank you. So as the title of the poem suggests, the poem is about my brother's barber. He still is his barber actually, after how many years. And I just really love to write about the people I know or people that I observe. I'm really interested in observing people, but what I'm most interested in is, you know, the underlying currents and the opposing forces in one emotion. So for example, this poem, I originally wanted it to be about my brother. I wanted it to be about the joy of, you know, going to the barbershop and, you know, that experience of when he comes home and shows his haircut. But as always, I was thinking, you know, what is the opposing force? What is underneath this? And I thought, you know, how about I also make this about his barber, because I remember his barber had quite a short-lived rap career, and I thought this could be really interesting, you know, writing about the joy of my brother going to the barbers, but also this underlying current of the barber not really realizing the joy that he is inputting on my brother, and I think writing poems like that, and where you're, you know, thinking about the opposing forces and not just, you know, one emotion, like, you know, this poem is driven by anger, or this poem is driven by joy, or this poem is driven by sadness, you know, thinking about what else is lying underneath, what else is opposing it. So if it's joy, what is the darkness opposing that joy? And writing poems like that allows me, or allows the poet, to write poems that have different faces. So when people read it, they get different things from it. So, you know, some people might read the poem and connect more to the experience of going to the barbers, connect more to my brother, and some might read it connecting more to the barber, and, you know, what it means to have a dream that is lost and transformed into something new. In his case, the barbershop becomes the stage that he always craved. And those are the kind of poems that I like to write, that I find most interesting. So yeah, that is the inspiration behind that, and the general writing process that applies not just to that poem, but other poems that I write and hope to write. That being said, thank you for listening, and I hope that you are writing, and I hope that you're keeping well and keeping safe, and take care.